So I think one of the first jobs I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear up those exhaust ports, just where the gasket sits, that's all. And also I'm going to clean up those exhaust studs. Now something's strange, right? And I don't know why. Maybe one of you clever people can tell me. If you notice, and it's not a trick of the light, when you're looking down, the exhaust port's split, okay? Because you've got two valves, so there is a port for each valve. They're not interconnected until they get, to this point. But obviously they're on the same cylinder. So how come one of them's clean and the other one isn't? And it's the same on that cylinder, it's the same on that, and it's the same on this. Very strange. If anybody knows why, please, please, please let me know, because I'm curious and I'd just like to know. Okay, so I'm going to get this set up in the drill, well, get my drill set up, and then we'll have a quick look at that cleaning process. I won't be a second. Okay, so I've just bought a small brass brush, nothing too big. That one's still got the old copper gasket in there. So just unseat that. Doesn't really need to be any more than that. Didn't think that was going to be the best tool for the job. Okay guys, so one of the things I'm going to do, there's a certain amount of coolant that's remained in the barrels, and I don't want that to go everywhere. I've got a feeling I've got to take the barrels off to replace the gasket. I don't think I can manipulate the gasket over them. So for all of you who've never seen one of these, this is one of those tools you can use to suck brake fluid through. It's also very good for sucking up absolutely any other liquid. So I'm going to put that down in the bore. That's pretty much everything sucked out now. Really handy little tool. I would highly recommend it. Okay, so we've got this cleaned out. So the next thing is to remove all this old gasket. And to be honest, I'm just going to try a brake cleaner. The other thing, and again, maybe you guys can answer this for me. I've never used silicone sealer on a head gasket. But this thing's just covered in it, and it is silicone. I'm going to go back to the manual and have a look and see how Kawasaki do it. But that's really unusual in my view. Normally, head gaskets, as I say, just go on as they are. Now, I don't see it makes any problem. Probably not going to make the slightest bit of difference, but I just think it's unusual. So yeah, please leave some comments. I'd be interested to find out. Okay, so I'm just experimenting with what works best to clean these surfaces up. And as I said, there's some silicone kind of a sealant being used on it. I want to remove all of that. And then bits of the old gasket. And as I mentioned before, the new gasket is slightly tacky. And I think under pressure and heat, it kind of sticks to the head. Weird. I mean, stuck in something off. Cloth is definitely getting dirtier. Well guys, as you can see, ZX12 engine. So where are we? I've cleaned up all the gasket surfaces. I haven't cleaned the piston top, so I don't really want to remove that carbon off there. It's not doing any harm, but it is helping seal. I've made sure that the knot pins are down properly, cam chain's in a good position. So first job, let's get this string sorted out here, is to drop the new head gasket on. As I've said before, wherever possible, I try to use genuine parts. It's not that, you know, patent part and third party can't be good. It's just, you know exactly where you stand. And Kawasaki's are pretty reputable people to get parts off of. So, is there a right way and a wrong way to put this on? Yes, there is, and that is the right way because of the oil pipe. So the first thing I need to do, feed a bit of string in. Trickier than I thought. No. Let's get that. Oh, come on. That's that. There it is. Now, I have a genuine user manual, workshop manual, and it is very, very good. It tells you a great deal about everything you're doing. There is absolutely no mention of any additional sealers, any additional anything. Just straight head, gasket, block. This had silicone all over it. I don't know why. I personally have always been told never use silicone on a head gasket. Don't know why, just something I was told and I've always stuck to, unless of course the Book of Words tells you to. So maybe you guys know. Leave me a comment, will you, if you know different or why you would want to use silicone on a head gasket. Personally, if the book doesn't say it, I don't see a need, but there you go. So there's only one more thing to do now, and that's get the head on. Let's do it. And what I will do first is I'm going to take this bit of string off the cam chain, because it'll just be annoying, and I can put that on as soon as the head's on. Right, on the cylinder head. So here's one I prepared earlier. So I see that that tube comes up through the cam area and fits into the cylinder head. Okay, so I've got to make sure that's located properly. And this is going to be a real pain in the bum, I'm sure. Oh God. That cam chain's got a right tight spot in it. So I guess actually I will put that screen back on. So I don't think there is really an easy way to do this. I wish there was. But what I'm going to do first of all, okay, well that wasn't totally shit. So, very gently tap it on. She's down. Wow. Easy. Absolutely easy. He says. Okay. So, next thing. Book of Words tells you how to tighten up the bolts and what order and all of the torques and all of that good stuff. So that's not going to be a problem, but what it does say to do, and I'm going to do it because the Book of Words says, is it says to oil the washer that sits under the head bolt, which is this little thing. One oil can. Number one. all the bolts are in the head. I'm just going to bring these down to finger tight. Doesn't really matter what sequence you do with finger tight. So we'll get those down and then we can torque this lot down properly from that point on. Okay, so torque wrench. And the first torque is 23 Newton meters. Those end bolts. Okay, I see. So those end bolts need to be done to 20 Newton meters full stop. So I'm actually overcooking it a bit with these. So let's set that to 20. I thought that should be less because it's a smaller. Perfect. So that's fully done. Back on with the head bolts. Next torque setting is 59 Newton meters. Don't know if this goes that high. Let's see. 50. $59. Oh shit. Well, that's what it calls for. God, that's a lot of torque. I think I'll bring them all close and right, head torqued. I don't mind admitting that was quite hard work. So, next thing, gaskets on here. Then we can reinstall our shims and buckets, drop the cams into place, and we'll need to take the cover off. I think it's this side of the engine, just to check those timing marks and make sure that's all good, and we're in time, because if not, it could be terrible catastrophe. Right, time for a brew.